this dial here so as not to ruin the battery, right? It's always floating, right? If you have the battery, right? If you press here, oh, it goes up to 3.8, which is the best function to not damage. It's like a slow charge. Hey everyone, today we're showing you font functions. This video will help me too to remember the functions. This is the 200 source. There's also 150 and 120. It's a small font. Even though it's 200, you can see my hand is tiny. But it's almost a foot here. It fits in any corner, right? Remember, the old fountains were pretty big, right? But this here is stop. Come on, what does it matter? Let's show you its functions here, right? Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, she had 2 buttons in the old one, right? That little red one had 2 buttons. She already has more buttons here, the 3rd button here. And let's go to the functions here. Yeah, it's connected to my system here. A heck of the modules here, right? There's a 150 battery there. But let's go to the video here. Let's connect it to the circuit breaker. There's a circuit breaker here on the hidden side, right? Let's call here. She's gonna make a mess at first, right? She makes a joke, as they say, high bladder. But after she recognizes that she has the battery or that she doesn't, she will stop the choir. Oh, I'll call here to show you. Oh. Oh, and she recognized that the battery is more or less charged, right? The sound's off. Oh, you can see how the sound stopped in the old days to the sounds of that red one, boy. It was a terrible sound, right? Too much fun, she said. Automatically, oh, you can see how quiet it is. And just remembering, guys, she's here in the auto CI function, right? It's the safest function for you who don't want to damage your battery, right? Do you understand? I always leave it here in auto CI. Sometimes when the sound is on, it will send more energy. It will send less function here so as not to spoil it. I've been using a JFA for 5 years because of this auto CI function, right? Just remembering that other fans on the market also have it, just with another name, right? Here, in this case, this button up here, guys, it shows attention. I'll press it here. When I pressed here once, it went into the stream, right? The chain is what she needs, right? Still, she's lowering the number, right? Usually when a week passes without charging the battery, it stays here. My battery stays at is 2540, depending on how much it will lower this number. When this number here is 0, it is a sign that the battery is charged. Your batteries leave it with the time that it is. Understand? Guys, it's always good. I always advise when you reach 0 here, you don't turn off the source, leave some there. Half an hour or so to give that good charge, and here you press again, it will pay attention to what the sound is using. Do you understand? When these 2 functions appear here, the LEDs here lit, right? Voltage and current, as my sound is on. If I turned on the sound, it would lower. Oh, I'll turn on the sound here. Just show you, oh, turn on the modules here. It will already see what you need in case, if I increase the sound, it has already started to work more generally when the sound is on, right? It's not ringing, the sound is not ringing, that I took the plug off the speaker, right? Turn off the sound here again. I'm going to press here again. It went to the voltage, right? Which is the voltage that I think the source is sending to the battery. Or if there is no battery, it sends this function and this voltage. Then click on this button here, mode selector, right? She went to the output voltage here, guys. Pay attention to the bob box. Understanding you're going to regulate it. You're going to send it to your bob, right? If you don't have a battery, and here you can switch if you want, right? Just select this selector, then you can put 2.613. Goals, 3.4, 3.8, that will stay fixed, right? 14 and 14.4, you advise if you don't have battery being left a 14.4, that will send more power to your sound, right? The higher the power, the more it will command. It's more, as they say, power, right? If you don't have a battery, you can leave it in this function. It's output voltage and always leave it at 14.4. And it will always send more energy there for your modes. Do you understand? And then you'll play more. Then you tell me, oh, it can burn if I leave it at 14.4. If you select 114.4 with battery, then you can damage the battery all the time, right? It's going to send high energy. If you have the battery, I do it myself. When I turn on my battery, I leave it in the car without me. Do you understand? But if you have a box there, silly box or any system without battery, I can always leave it here in 14.4, right? And this function you leave in 14.4 here in exit intention sector, and you select here the attention you want to leave. There are a lot of people who use 13.8, right? Leave this dial at 13.8 so as not to damage the battery, right? It's always floating, right? If you have a battery, right? If you press here, oh, it goes up to 3.8, which is the best function to not damage. It's like a slow charge at 3.8. If you don't have it, it's battery. the advice, leave it at 14 point Kato all the time, but it varies. See, what do you want to do? Curious to know how this slow charge works, right? You click here once and it goes to slow load. I'm going to teach you here. What are you going to do here, guys? Slow charge. Did you leave slow charge? You click this little button here, right? This will say batteries. An example, if you have a 600 ampere battery, you click here. Oh, 300 ampere battery, 400 ampere battery, 600 ampere battery, for example. If your battery is 150, oh, how interesting that it goes up to 7. Oh, there. Oh, if you have a small battery, right, on a motorcycle, you can charge it here. Oh, since my battery is a 150, I will select up to 150 here. Very interesting, man. It has too many functions. This one came complete. This source here. Oh, if there are 11 batteries of 105, 120, now my battery is 150. I'll leave it here at 150, right? It won't damage my battery. For example, if I have this 60 battery, it was 60, right? Okay, she already knew here there is a battery of 150. So if you have more battery, you just have to calculate. But 2 of 150 gives 300. You will leave it here at the number of 300. Then in this case, she will do a reading, and here it will say, as mine is charged. Look, she lit the little button here for charged battery, and that function there where you put it on 15 volts, right? That maximum tension, right? If you want to give that shock, in the case of the battery, right, you just leave this button pressed here. Or you read the whole battery, or leave it pressed, it will spike. Good, right? Even the tuner sounded faster. That's going to be 30 seconds, okay? 30 seconds of that pull on the battery, right? So you say you better do it here once a week at least. Disables the function. Cooler too, right? It goes along, and for you to read the battery CSA, right, you press these two little buttons here. Oh, sometimes it's complicated, you see, guys, which people here will read the CSA, right? My battery, I put 150, her model, she will say CSA 630 first, right? The resistance in this case also tells the useful life. Right, what percentage is the battery doing here? Oh, there, 74%. Battery life yet. And that returned to normal functions, right? It's one of the fonts I've been using for years, right? It's been 5 years since I really liked it, and this one came complete the functions of this Mexona here, see?